This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. Welcome to Mental Health Matters with Viking Psychiatry, and I am continuing to speak with founder Sean Goddard about giving you the tools you need to support mental health. And today, Sean, welcome back.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the stigma side of it, because there is stigma that comes with people having mental health conditions, expressing or sharing that they have it. I think we've gotten better over the years, especially as we witness on news and on social media, how devastating holding it in can be for that individual. So now we're trying to understand it better. But why do you feel that there's such a strong stigma?
You know, a lot of it has to do with history. From the very beginning, mental health was looked as something being wrong with somebody, right? Somebody that needed to be locked away, right? Or finger pointed at, right? Or separated from everybody else because of what is going on with them, right? And so we also have cultural and societal implications that go along with that, right? Where there are beliefs handed down and people don't want to buck the beliefs, right? They don't want to be seen outside the norm. And so that plays a huge role. And I really think sometimes, not as much now as used to, but even media really, zeroed in on certain mental health issues or a certain situation that occurred, and people see the worst case scenarios, and then if you say, for example, bipolar, well, then that's a horrible thing to have, right? Because of that. And so it's a lot of the belief and understanding. But I do believe that one of the best things that came out of COVID and the lockdown was the understanding and the acceptance of mental health, and that treatment is needed. Yeah,
it is, and you're right. I think how the visual looked for mental health is what was off-putting. It's like that person was labeled crazy or insane, or, if you have to talk to a therapist, you're cuckoo or something like that, instead of it's just like, I need help working through these thoughts or these life situations, a tragedy. And we saw the worst form of it progress. So someone can have a mental health issue that they've had, but then the execution or the action that they did lose their mind. Like when Britney Spears was like, banging, what's it called, the golf club, and she had her breaking point. And that's the thing, I think recognizing the stigma and talking about it earlier helps people not get to that breaking point as often. And so so through the stigma, it actually caused people not to seek help. So why is that?
Because I think when it comes down to it is you don't want to be labeled, right? And you think that you're outside the norm, but really I would tell people that the norm is to struggle, right? 1 in 5 Americans suffer from depression. 1 in 5, right? And over 50% of the U.S. will go through some type of mental health crisis in their lifetime. Those are huge numbers, right? Those are numbers that show us what the normal is. When it comes to something like anxiety, over 40 million Americans suffer with anxiety every single year, right? These are large numbers. So this is not affecting, 1 in 100 or 1 in 200. This is affecting 1 in 5.
And so that's what I love about this conversation with you and you having this facility specifically for mental health in Fort Wayne, because it's like people see it and it's tangible. I can touch it. I could call them. I could go in and learn about the variety of options that you provide. And also the fact that you're not a stranger to what you're helping people through, because you are very open about your personal struggles and how you found this this whole body method to help. So let's talk about that in a sense of strategies and really ways that people can take dealing with mental health to get treatment or to help their friends and family to get treatment.
Yeah, I think, when I came here to Fort Wayne, our mental health treatment options weren't great. And the sad thing is they haven't gotten better outside of what we offer at Viking Psychiatry. We've seen offices close, more barriers to care and those types of things. And so we're trying to break that down and allow more people to get treatment and treatment that helps immediately. But I think when it comes to the stigma, we each have to do an individual job at helping break that, right? And so encouraging people to get help, right? Because it used to be the opposite, right? Oh, you don't want to go there. You don't want to get that label. You don't want to get that diagnosis, right? It's going to cause problems. We want to avoid harmful phrases like it's all in your head, right?
Right.
It's not all in the head, right? And there's things that need to occur and things that need to change. Also, we have this opportunity now with the internet to be able to educate ourselves better beforehand and being able to educate about what's going on. And so if your friend, your partner, your whoever is struggling with something, you have an opportunity to go and research that and be able to better understand what they're going through.
Right.
And then I think one of the big things of like what we're doing today is speaking out against the stigma. Right. And speaking out against labeling. I think nowadays we tend to label so much stuff, and mental health needs to be one of the things that we're not labeling. It needs to be something that we're accepting and saying, what can we do to make things better?
Yeah, and I think part of it, like you said, is being a non-judgmental, but then on the flip side, being transparent, you know, and just, you know, working it into a conversation. You know, you're out and you're going to dinner with a friend and you're catching up and say, hey, how's your day been? And, you know, it could be, oh, it's been a great day, but I was feeling some anxiety this morning because of X, Y, and Z. And it's not like the world stops. It's like, oh yeah, girl, I experienced that too. You will find how much people can relate if you share. But if people are holding it back because I don't want to judge you and I don't want you to judge me, then we're not going to have those conversations. And I've had the most beautiful conversations with people through that transparency. And it shows that we are not in this by ourselves. We are actually all experiencing very similar things, and it's okay.
You bring up such an important point about sharing. One of the things that I often ask in the office and even when I'm out and about, just the other day I asked them how they were doing and they're like, oh, I'm fine. And the thing I asked was, is that just the canned response or is that how you're really feeling? Because we tend to just respond automatically. And sometimes somebody just following up and saying, are you sure? Are you okay? Especially if you're picking up on something. Is there anything you want to talk to me about, right? And we've talked about the body storing things, right? The better we can release that in that moment or deal with those issues in the moments, the better we're going to feel. And that also reduces the stigma because we allow the people around us to know that it's okay to not be okay.
Okay, right, exactly. And I love that. Yes, that question, I try to incorporate like how I think about how I'm actually doing. So if you're like, how are you doing? I'd be like, it's a day. You know, this Friday feels like a Monday, or I got pinch a nerve today. It's okay to like just say what's wrong with you, and it doesn't have to be like sunshine and butterflies. I'm doing great. Sometimes we're not. Most times we're not.
Yeah, some people are going to listen and other people aren't. So when you release with that beginning, well, I'm not really feeling that great today. Some people are just going to say, well, I'm sorry to hear that and move on. But there are going to be people that are going to stop, they're going to care, and they're going to listen. And that's what we want more of.
Yeah, I agree. More conversations like this.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about Viking Psychiatry, we'll have their website listed below. And I'll see you after the break.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry.